The movie began with Batman chasing the Joker, but eventually Batman catches him with one of his tech gadgets. However, when Batman gets closer to him, he found out that isn't the Joker, but rather Jim Gordon, who seems to have been infected by the real Joker. Just then, the Joker revealed himself as he began laughing at the Batman. He then set up a bomb, which he already placed on Jim's body, which then goes off. Obviously, this doesn't affect the Batman as he flew the scene. We then see the city soldiers shooting from above. Joker, seeing this, does not like this and immediately send Killer Croc and Solomon Grundy to eliminate them out. The Joker then plans to use the military tank to destroy the tower, which will eventually put the world to an end. Meanwhile, Batman seems to be unable to stop them as he was busy attending to Killer Croc and Solomon Grundy in a 1-2 battle. Just as the Joker prepares to fire, a bomb is sent into the tank, forcing the Joker out of the tank as it exploded. However, this was the doing of Dixon, who showed up with Alina and Robin. They agreed to take on the Joker into custody, but Batman tells them that he didn't need their help in the first place. We, the viewer, are then taken to a scene where we see a superhuman named Charles who tried to interrogate what seems to be a prisoner. He tried making the prisoner to confess with his mind control and power, but the prisoner seems to be resisting his power, which is surprising as it's the first time someone did so. Charles then told us a story from his flashback. He was just a little boy who had a passion for reading books and loved bears, but does not seem to like staying around people as he hated it. He also has the gift to feel people's emotions that explain why he doesn't like staying around many individuals. We then know that his parents hated each other, as they fight, but they didn't end up killing each other. But what they did wrong was sending Charles into a boarding school as he was bullied in school. Even his teacher punished him when he did nothing wrong. However, seeing that he couldn't accept all this, Charles unleashes a gateway for his power as he now has the power to control minds, and with his powers, he made his bully to kill themselves. Meanwhile, the scene switches to space where we see the planet Krypton explode, and while the Monitor observes it from afar. However, after its destruction, a ship crashed with his satellite, but the shield protects it as no damages was caused by this. Just then Monitor asked his robot, ChatGPT in robot form, laughing out loud. What was that? To which his robot explains to us that the small ship contains a Kryptonian survivor who is finding it hard to breathe as it's suffocating. But the Monitor seems not to care as he orders his robot to remove the ship from his sight. But the robot did the opposite by rescuing her. Robot assured him that she will soon die from her radiation explosion. But for the Monitor, it is intolerable for her to die on his own ship. He then ordered his robot to do whatever it takes to save her. However, the Kryptonian was Superman's cousin. The Monitor and the Kara, the Kryptonian, then ate together as she has lost all her memories about who she is. Monitor explained to her who she was and about her planet, but he skipped about the destruction of her planet. As Kara asked if she could go home, the Monitor told her she could help with something on the satellite before she can go home. The Monitor also explained to her about who he was as he told her that they are the Monitor and their job is to observe and document celestial events, and they also record all events in the universe as they know what will happen next. However, they swore never to interfere in Earth affairs. Meanwhile, Charles continues his story as he told the prisoner how he took control of the entire school with his mind control powers. Although during this time in their small village, when no word has come out from the school for months, the police is alerted by this as they enter the school to investigate. But what they saw was so traumatizing as they found the whole students with also the school teacher hanged on the school ceiling, and obviously this was Charles' doings. Charles then took his power too far as he uses it to gain the captain and merchant raider. Finally, he became the pirate he had always dreamed of, but this was cut short as his ship became damaged and sank. He also explained to us how he gained the control of the Aquaman under his power, thereby gaining alliance between the Third Reich and having Atlantis' army under his control. As he finished his story, we are then meant to know that the prisoner was the one who invited Charles. However, Charles became mad as the prisoner doesn't want to speak. Just then, he finally speaks and hasn't been hearing him because he was worlds away. Just then, we the viewer then found out that this prisoner was Dr. Fate, who tells Charles that he is going to offer him a gift, which is the ability to travel between realities. Immediately, Fate passes the power to him as he has an important role to play in the crisis to come. Meanwhile, Kara explores around the spaceship as she went into it. Kara watched video of her and her family and insisted to go to Krypton. Just as she planned doing so, she then found out that our planet was already destroyed. Kara rushes to meet the Monitor as she's furious he lied to her, as he could have also saved millions, but he did nothing. The Monitor also reminded her about the non-interference rule. Kara is very furious and sad. Just then, Monitor told her that she isn't the last Kryptonian as her cousin brother Kai else still exists. Kara is surprised and mad he didn't tell her about this sooner. Immediately, Kara leaves. Later, we see Kara as she goes to find her cousin but found nothing. Just then, Satellite appears, teleporting her back to the Monitor spaceship, Monitor let Kara know that her friend and all life form are in danger because of the antimatter wave approaching Earth. So instead of him sitting and watching this time, he decided to give Kara a little portion of his life force energy, which transformed Kara into Harbinger, a missionary who travels all the world to recruit powerful heroes to stop the antimatter wave. Meanwhile, Charles wakes up and found his ship been destroyed by Superman, while Flash run around the city looking for Charles, who seems to have escaped. As he cast his spell of Dr. Fate and then found himself teleport to another Earth where he's the president. Just then, the Harbinger approached him, revealing that she has been sent to gather the world best champion of each Earth, to which Charles is one of them. Meanwhile, Superman uses his vision to sight the wave heading to Earth 18, as he immediately activated all tower to begin a planetary phasing, making the wave to pass through Earth 18 without any destruction. Everyone thanks Superman. Just then, he notices that Kara is unhappy as he approached her to ask why. She told him that she's upset that Brainiac is dead while Krypton is gone forever. Just then, the Monitor appeared, telling them to return. The scene then switches where we see a naked young boy who was sent to a planet with no human. He then called the Justice League as he complained. Just as he lament, he then sees an ape which he attacks, but the ape assured him that he's different and he's here to help him. Later, we see Charles as he's going through so much pains as the Monitor want him to use his power to broadcast calmness, and if he didn't do so, there would be panic and chaos in this world. Charles then informed the Monitor that the process would be too painful as he doesn't have enough powers to influence so many people. He then brought the idea that the Monitor should give him a little bit of his power, to which he will then use and accomplish what the Monitor want. But then Charles believes the Monitor won't trust him with such. Just then, we see as the Monitor then proceeded to doing so, as he then gave him a little bit from his power. Meanwhile, the geniuses gave a report to the Monitor as they found out that the antimatter wave, which they thought was supposed to be a one-time threat, seems to be an ongoing storm with multiple waves. They believe this isn't a cosmic natural phenomenon, but rather an attack from a sentient being. As they tried figuring out the solution to the antimatter wave, Blue Beetle then saw Charles and confront him, as he knows Charles to be a sociopath in his own world. Charles then used his mind power on Blue Beetle. This wasn't supposed to work on him, but since he already gained little powers from the Monitor, Charles was able to bring Blue Beetle under his control. Just then, Charles then feels a sharp pain where a bright light appears, taking him away. We see Batman as he sees his shadow trying to take him, and this seems to be a problem in every Earth. Charles then sees himself in an empty space where he has been questioned about him helping the Monitor. However, this entity is known as the Anti-Monitor, who believes in chaos. He promised Charles to make him a god and the ruler of a new whole universe, but Charles would have to completely destroy the old universe. We then see Queen Hippolyta and her army, who could not handle those shadow demon on their own, to which Diana goes to help out. Meanwhile, the Batman family then appears to assist Batman, as the shadow demon weakness are light. Batman also informed the Monitor about this as well. Meanwhile, we see Combat and Soliver repairing a tower in their world just for them to be attacked by the Shadow's demon. Just as they attack and surround them with little odd, Soliver sacrifices himself as he blasts his gun, creating a large explosion, killing him. While Kara meets Charles on her way as she plans going to help the other heroes, but Charles then took advantage as he uses his mind control power to make Kara see the Monitor as the bad guy who destroyed her world and should take her revenge. Charles also used the power to make the hero fight against each other. More Shadow's demon kept on appearing in all reality. We then see Wonder Woman as she tells the Queen to release all the men who are placed as slaves to help them in the battle, but the Queen refused as she preferred dying than trusting men. Just as Green Lantern fights some demons in his Earth, he then sees an old man who recognized him to be the guy that foresaw that the end would come to an end. He attacked the man with anger, believing the man has something to do with all this. They both battle. The scene then switches as Monitor approached Charles, asking him about why he changed his mind on saving the world. Right there, Charles then told him how he got a new boss called an Anti-Monitor, the being who want to create a new world, but will have to destroy this one just to achieve it. Meanwhile, unfortunately, since the whole heroes were busy fighting the Shadow Demon, none were able to turn on the tower, making the antimatter wave to begin destroying all the Earth with its heroes, including the Queen of the Amazon as she's killed by it. We then see the Spectre talking to the Monitor about how he, the Monitor, refuses to believe in the Spectre. He also feels bad that despite all his powers, he will just have to sit and watch the planet destroyed without him doing anything. Meanwhile, as Green Lantern and the Constantine fight each other, John then remembered who Constantine was, as together they overload the Green Lantern battery and send it towards the demons. Batman also noticed that the demon are retreating, but he feels this isn't a good sign. We then see all the demon merging themselves into one body, turning into a huge demon as its plan is to destroy the tower. The heroes then used light to battle the demon, but this seems not to be working as the demon is wearing a strong armor protecting it from light. Just then, we see Kara as she attacked the monitor under still the influence of Charles. Just as she finished attacking the monitor, Kara then came to her senses after seeing the monitor halfway dead on the floor. Meanwhile, we see the huge demon as he brings out a very big force from his palm as it's obvious that the heroes are now doomed. The movie then came to an end with a huge cliffhanger. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy content like this, kindly subscribe for more. Bye.